Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope everyone's been having a wonderful week. Weekend is almost here. Tonight we'll be doing our weekend grind. We're going to be doing some helms. So for those of you who are needing to get those helm materials and things, make sure you check in on the Discord at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be 8 o'clock Central for those of you here in the Florida time zone. Now I'm going to make sure we have our stuff set up here. Give me just a second, guys. I have to do this from either a computer or a phone. And I'm on my phone trying to access. Here we go. A little slow. Might be time to update this thing. Alright, now I'm going to also add a thumbnail so everybody know what we're playing here. Alright, that looks pretty good on my end. Let's go ahead and get loaded in. Now, if you don't log all the way out, you're going to see that match make failure, and then it kicks you back, then you have to reload back in. I'm not sure why it does that. It's always been that way. So make sure that you log all the way out of your game, otherwise you'll run into that. Or if you switch consoles, like I was playing on Xbox earlier, I'll switch to my PlayStation so I can do my live stream here. And of course, you got to do that sometimes too. So there's some new cosmetics. They had the Play Doctor set, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't real happy with the beak thing, but I liked most of the rest of it. So as usual, I took elements of things that I enjoyed, put it on my captain, and left other things off. I don't know, I'm not 100% sold on the cape here, but we'll stick with it for now. Now, what I've been doing here as of late is, since we have our forts back up, I've been running these forts here quite a bit. And what I do recommend, guys, is if you're looking to run these forts, do it in Tier 1. Now, I've been hearing from folks that in Tier 2, when you're in World Tier 2, when you come over here to Mega Fort Houston, the first time that you run this with helm materials, or even without, it runs fine. But if you turn right back around and try to hit it again, then it faults out. Now, that's not anything new. We have seen where they have fixed some of these walls with the remainder of the forts. But if you try to farm Mega Fort Houston the way we have in the past in Tier 2, you're either going to have the fort fault out on you, or you're going to end up having that crazy level 20 ship come in on you, or I'm sorry, that level 30 Man of War pop in on you, and you can't sink it. So I don't know why it's been doing that, but that is something that's going on. So like I say, you can still run Mega Fort Houston, just do it in World Tier 1. It's not paying any more helm materials than anything else. So what I've been doing, is running that, and then of course been running some fleets. So we're going to be running some fleets and some other things tonight in the Discord group. And of course, just building up this Gold Skull product, because this is where the silver's at. This is where we'll be making most of our currencies. All right, now it looks like everything's finally been ran over here. So we're going to come up here to Supply Network. Now over here, there's two ways you can do this. What's going to pay the most, the quickest, is running fort plunders. It'll be like Granby, Mega Fort Houston, Preemie. I like it when we get a lot of them all lined up in the same area, but you just got to take what you can get. Now these pay about 490. They take about 5 to 6 minutes to run typically. Now you can run it that way, or you can get in a group of people, come over to your order registry. This is what we'll be doing tonight on top of forts, is coming over here and picking up our roving orders and our standard orders. And each one of these is going to spawn in a fleet. The more of you there are in a group, and the more groups there are on the water, the more of these we can actually force to spawn. We've actually had spawns where it's just so intense that it actually pays better to do this than it is to running the forts, and it's a lot more fun. So we're going to be running this tonight, and that's going to be pretty sweet. Now you can run it solo. It doesn't pay as well by yourself. You don't have as many aggros running that stuff. So that's why usually when I'm running solo, I will just come over here and grab these forts and pop these things out. Okay, so we got a fort plunder here. And another one. Looks like everything's going to be in this vicinity, so. I want to check, make sure which ship we got here. I don't really have much need for torpedoes. Nope, that looks pretty good there. All right. Guess I should look and make sure the stream is actually working properly, huh? I'm sure it is. But I've had it before where I've done this and not have any sound at all coming out of my microphone, so. I've done this and not have. Not very good. Now, I've been playing World of Warships all night. I've been doing my grind over there. They got quite a bit of new ships and even some new countries and things over there. And then, of course, the War Tales and a lot of different types of awesome things. I've been enjoying that over there. Now, we have the Death Tides over here, but to me, it's a little more fun running those PvPs. But we do have a group for the Discord guys who want to join over there. You can play cross-platform on consoles. They will be adding PC to that game here pretty soon on World of Warship Legends. Now that's different than just regular Legends or regular World of Warships. It's its own little title there, but it is free to play. And you don't have to pay, but you can. I know there's a lot of people who like to pay for stuff. Instead of just different cosmetics and all, you actually have ships, commanders, captains, and special abilities and research and stuff like that you can do over there. Kind of where this game is heading. So pretty cool stuff. Cannot wait for this to finally get all of its updates. But that is an option if you're in a Discord and you're looking to play some of that stuff. That's kind of where I've been at here in the evenings. I do get on here and grind with the Discord lead and a few other folks every now and then within this game here, but usually during the week I'm just kind of hitting a few things off and on. Now something I do want to do real quick is make sure I pick up while I'm online. Okay, we got 12 or 10 there, 11 here, so we'll make sure we pick that up here shortly. And no blind spots on those other ships either. But this is really what you've got left. Hey, how's it going there, Henry? This is really kind of what we've got left right now. We're waiting on some of that new content. For those of you who haven't done the event yet, you can pick up a lot of really cool torpedoes and stuff. They're really great. They obviously, you can't hit walls with them, so I don't typically use them for this. But when I'm doing my fleet grinds and stuff, I usually will roll out with some torpedoes. They do such a great job, especially the new healing torpedoes. Now, while they're not the hardest hitting, they do actually keep you healed up while you're playing, so that's always something to keep an eye on. But I'm definitely grateful that the forts are now working. I know it's one of the things that a lot of us have been waiting on, is to get some of this stuff going back on. And like I say, you know, it's one of those things where if you get caught up, it's no sweat. What you do is just find other areas to grind in the game, or come and try one of the other games that we're playing in the Discord. So a lot of cool stuff going on over there. Now there's some first-person shooter games that some of those guys are playing. Like I said, I mostly like these naval combat games, with Legends being one of my favorite. Now War Thunder's not a bad game either. I played it, but it's kind of, I don't know, it seems to me like it's kind of geared more toward credit card players, which I guess is okay if you're into that. But I like things that I can grind for free. I don't mind playing the game to get the stuff that I need. I don't want to have to pay money to get it, but you can still earn it over there in that War Thunder. It just takes longer. Of course, trying to find that wall, man, that is the trick with this one. That fog sets in heavy, you can't hardly see the weak point. And it's been so long since I've been on this fort because it's been broke for like 2 weeks. Where you at here? There it is. I gotta pull off of it, I'm too close. Probably done. Yeah, well, we're done with it anyway, so for that section. Still been waiting for them to finally fix the stereo popping that we're hearing on this with the PlayStation. I don't get that popping noise over on my Xbox, so I know it's not on my end. But they'd mentioned it in the past, but I've not seen where it's actually been addressed yet, so hopefully that's something we'll be seeing here in the next few patches. But wanted to make sure we gave these patch notes a good once-over, because we've had it come in the past, but they'll say these items are going to get addressed, and we'll end up coming in, making a video, post it up, saying this is fixed, and none of it actually got fixed. So this week, what I ended up doing is I took a day or two to make sure I ground that stuff out and make sure that the items of it that were announced were working, or at least what I could. So I did hear Smoke Queen is actually working. The other one that they'd posted up, I've not heard one way or the other. I don't know anybody running that mission, so definitely let me know in the chat if you're hung up on anything. But I've heard quite a few people talk about World Tier 2 Mega Fort Houston. The first time they run it, it's fine. But if they try to run it directly, as soon as it refreshes the walls, recovers the walls, and you try to run it again, it will fault out still. So, but it's just been on that one fort from what it sounds like. And that's nothing new. We've seen that kind of get adjusted here a while back. So, all right. So that's got our stuff over here. Yeah, the next Halloween event. Yeah, I actually missed it too. The Requiem of Loss and even that Azor challenge or whatever it was. I missed that last year. So definitely looking forward to getting some of those heliports and whatever else they ended up bringing in. I heard there's supposed to be some new weapons. Don't know what they are yet. They've not released that list yet. But they're going to have some pretty cool stuff as far as like for your poison and all that kind of stuff too, coming out of the past. And then, of course, being able to add that poison perk onto our existing weapons is going to be pretty sweet, too. Got a new blighted torpedo coming out, so that's going to have poison damage automatically. I thought about maybe putting that on my healing torpedoes and adding that that poison blight stuff to it, and then using that new schooner. I don't know. We'll have to play around. I'm definitely digging some of these fire culverins as well, though. So we may actually play around with some of that poison. But the rot mouth is what it looks like, a culverin, and that thing sounds like it's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah, you're getting the popping sound too. Yeah, they had mentioned it in an earlier patch about, I don't know, about a month or so ago. Said that they were aware of it and were going to be working on it. And then they had put a thing that fixed an issue, but it was supposed to be like a few days later that it would actually get fixed. I'm not sure what happened with that, but I've been putting in my bug reports on it, so hopefully we'll get that fixed right away. And the more stuff as a crew or even as gamers that we can put in that bug reporter, and the more information you give them, like if you're getting kicked out, entering those codes and screenshots and things like that, or even making a video of it if you can repeat it, it typically gives them an idea of where to work on some stuff. At least that's what it seems to me like, and you can typically get stuff fixed a little quicker in the game, so that's always a good thing. But I'm definitely looking forward to tonight, grinding with everyone. It's been a little bit since I've made some of the events, but mainly because I just kind of was caught up with everything. All right, let's see what we got next. I think we had it here amount. Oh, we do have an Houston we can run. So we'll run that one next. And then we'll swing south and catch Deuster, and I think it was Preemie. Now, typically, I've always ran my schooner with this stuff, but I've been kind of digging running my frigate here lately. It does a really good job on all this stuff. Yes, sir. I like posting up any info I can. There's a lot of information in the game as far as like for, new people and stuff. I may start going back over with some more tutorials and stuff. But I've got a lot of that stuff out there, and it seems like people find it pretty well. So I try not to repeat too much information in videos, but just playing the game and coming in here and doing some of these mission sets and stuff. Usually, hope it gives people ideas and some things they can do in the game. There's always something to grind, even if it's just basic currencies. Now, I am going to focus in on these walls a little bit here, but we're going to take off some of these ships too. We've got a few helm ships. That's most. We'll go ahead and hit plunder. Also, we're going to go ahead and do it this way. As long as you don't hit that side of the wall or get it ground, you should be okay. But man, if you get grounded on this thing, this fort will tear you up quick. Especially this lower wall right here. We're at sharpshooter. I definitely don't want him around. Now right there's the test to see if that's going to fault out on us. If that lower wall actually heals, then we know we're going to have a problem. But it looks like it's doing okay, so I think we're going to be all right. As long as we're not flashing, we don't have to worry about bracing too much. Of course, these are always what you gotta watch out for, these little sharpshooters, man. But I'll tell you what, I was using my schooner, or no, my sandbuck the other day, doing some grinding, and after you've used this ship a lot, you kind of get used to having that blind spot, and it can actually affect you in your medium ships pretty bad trying to relearn a lot of that stuff. So, or it'd be the end of you. I'm going to take this section here out before I go up north here. Come on, come on. Got to aim just a little behind that wall with that mortar to hit it right. All right. I didn't have to shoot it after all with the mortar. But still a good way to get a lot of different type materials as well. Of course, in Tier 2, you can get a lot of things. But I'll be honest with you, man, if you're going to be grinding out for like your masterwork kits and stuff like that, you're better off to run Wolvenhall simply because it pays more. It takes about the same amount of time as running Megafort, Oost, in Tier 2, and you don't have to worry about it faulting out on you. You know, it has gotten better. We're going to give props on it's gotten better, but there's still some issues with that in Tier 2. I'm definitely looking forward to having double capacity in your ships as far as your slots. That's going to be nice to actually be able to hold 100 items instead of just 50 in a ship. That's supposed to be on all ships, so your weight's going to become an issue, but you shouldn't be running out of slots like we used to. Unless you're just doing a lot of mass item farming just everywhere and you never empty your cargo. But if you're doing kind of a focused grind, you'll probably be okay. Looks like another weak spot up here to the north, if I remember right. What furnitures am I using? I'll have to look when I get back ashore, man. It's been a while since... I know I'm using the Culverin Trinion and some other things like that. But I'm using the... I think it's the Fire Culverin 3s, if I'm not mistaken. back over here where we can hit this wall now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I missed it. Or it's faulted. We'll look and see. Hopefully I just missed it. Yeah, we just missed. No big deal. Trying to find that spot, man. It's a little bit different aiming off these large ships it is medium, because you can't really see the top of the wall, and you want to make sure that that thing arches just right where it will hit a weak point, because if you shoot just shallow or just behind it, you're not doing anything. So you got to actually fling that mortar into the wall. You don't want to hit it directly in the top, but you want it to arc just enough to where it hits it. They always got to ease in right behind you. There we go. All right. Now maybe we can finish this. We didn't quite shoot far enough behind it, and it hit just in front, but it still did enough damage to take it out. All right. Now, these ships here, they don't really count toward the progress, but they will aggravate the crap out of you. These little fire ships, so make sure you take them out. They're just about over encumbered with materials here. And we probably will be as soon as we pick this up. Now, we're still working on 50 slots, so we may have to drop some crap here. We'll see what we got. We'll just work it back slow. Looks like we got everything. We'll drop cargo and I'll look and see what furniture this is I've got on here. It's been a while since I set it up. I'm pretty sure I posted this build once before, but it's been a while. Let's see here. Let's dump this stuff out first. Yeah, so Fire Covert 3's on the front. I think I threw an Urban's great gun on the back just because it's something I had that was upgraded. Doesn't really add or take away from anything because it's just 2 shots off that back end. Not sure. And then, of course, using Roaring Meg and got it upgraded with the 2 siege or double siege and dire explosive. That's pretty good taking out ships. Furnitures, I'm using bilge fire barrels, which is 5% chance to fully recharge the status effect. So mostly I'm looking at trying to increase secondary damage of broadside weapons, which I've added the fire on here again, and of course some electricity as well, so that's going to help boost that. It's also going to come in with the Ramrod Workshop, decreasing the reload time and increasing again secondary damage on it. Then the Devil's Concoction increases secondary damage of burning weapons, and then of course increase the maximum range on those as well. Tronian Furnace hits from cover and have 25% chance to spread to a nearby target. We're triggering the Ablaze effect quite a bit, so when you trigger the Ablaze on a ship, it actually has a 25% chance to trigger it on the next ship, and really start to do some chain reaction. Does a pretty good job with it. That's on top of the actual effect of the Ablaze effect triggering off. Gunpowder Bench increases damage to enemy ships with the Ablaze effect. And then the Sticky Fuel Station increasing the duration of the Ablaze effect. So it does a pretty good job charging everything up, so we just want to increase the damage it does with the fire and then keep it on the ships longer is kind of what we're looking at with it. Now, while the frigate doesn't add anything to that itself, running that combination of furniture seems to work pretty nice. Like I say, we use it in Tier 1 and Tier 2. I've had no problems with that. The reason I'm in Tier 1 is specifically running these forts, because it seems to me here lately it's just been Tier 2 has been too much of a... I've not really even tested it there in Tier 2, but a couple times. I didn't have any problems, but I've heard Oosting kind of flips around on you a little bit, so I just do it all here. If I go to do fleets, then I'll jump into Tier 2 because they have better payouts. All right. Let's set sail here. We should have enough room here. Running more of a defensive build. Yeah, so a lot of people like to run that defensive tank build, and they actually have some pretty nice, weapons and stuff that hit a little harder than some of the culverins. If y'all would excuse me, guys, allergies are killing me. My neighbor burns their trash outside. It just freaking makes for a miserable day sometimes. But yeah, so just kind of focusing in on this stuff. But this does a good job of keeping me in silver. Another thing that I've been doing is the unascended weapons. If it's ascended, I typically break it down in salvage. If it's unascended, I take and I sell that at Skurlock and Rema, because you can pick up quite a bit of silver just by selling weapons to those guys. And then, of course, running Helm. If you can make silver on anything you can, running Helm, especially Helm ships on contracts and things, you pick up a lot of silver chests. And you can save those up for next time they do a, well, they called it double silver event. I don't think it was quite double, but a boosted silver event. And that's assuming they have another one. Now, the other one that they did, I guess it was so popular, they had actually made a mention that people had made so much silver on it that they ended up had to change a few things as far as like how many chests people could purchase and things like that. And that one started to plunder. All right. Now, something I have noticed is I've not been noticing that this is coming under attack like it used to, where I'd come over here and see people would be attacking this fort. I've not noticed that since they did the update. Like I said, I think they were just testing some code, and I don't know that it's always attacking, but I do most of my playing at night, most of my gaming at night, mainly because it's just easier for me to hear the screen stuff, the air conditions running, and and I might want to do a stream without all that racket going on. Okay, I got to pay attention here. We've got sharpshooters on the water. All right. I think that's got our wall. Nothing actually healed on there, so that's a good sign. I don't think we're going to have any issues. Like I said, I've not been having any issues here this week in Tier 1. I tried a couple in Tier 2. Went good for me, but we have had quite a few reports of Houston still giving some quirky stuff. If you try to hit it too many times. Basically, if you hit it more than once, within an hour, it's going to fault out on you. I don't know why, but that seems to be the consensus that's going around right now. I guess he's going to sit on the back. If I had stayed back there, maybe I could have got him within the wall. I got to head back there anyway for the next spawn point here. Stay on the other side of the line, man. I'll have to come back around there for you. Darn it. I don't think that's going to hit anything. Pretty sure we gotta go get this other feller. Now we can get that southern wall. There we go. But Season 3 is sounding like it's going to be one heck of a lineup once they get this faction wars going. Definitely looking forward to it. I want to look and see some of the weapons. Now, they did show a screenshot, and I don't know how different the screenshot will be once Season 3 starts, but one of the screenshots I saw had the Battle Pass for the DMC side, and most of the stuff that's in the Battle Pass for DMC side looks like I already had, so I don't know that. you know, I don't know what the full tier is of it, but there was quite a bit of repeats like Foul Isles and things like that. So if that's stuff you're looking for, that may be something to look into. But from here, we'll swing up to Premium and run that one. So by the time you look to see how long it can take some of these forts, you can actually make quite a bit of raw materials if you're just farming out with a friend or two, picking up contracts. You'll actually end up getting about 4 or 5 times what you could get just running forts. Because by the time you run all these forts and you have to wait for the hour to refresh, you end up having to go run something else. So you can get this and those. Typically what I do is I'll grab these and I'll grab some of those contracts. Just don't fast travel, just travel around. But it takes a long time to do it that way because you can end up getting some pretty heavy spawns when you got more than one person. If you got 2 to 3 people, it can get pretty hectic out there. And you may not even have time to run forts on it, which is fine because you usually end up making more materials that way. So we're going to be doing some of that grinding tonight. A lot of us are getting onto the Discord group, so make sure you look for us in there around 9 p.m. That way everybody's got a chance to get off work and stuff, hopefully. Got a few late night guys that work night shift. Alright, last tier of this one. Go ahead and mark our next location here. The Premium. Alrighty. He might be searching for show of strength. I'm not sure. Or he might just be lost. Also, season 3, they were talking about a lot of the fire effects like Ablaze and stuff will actually trigger off the walls too. So if you're doing a lot of damage and you trigger an explosion or an Ablaze effect, it's going to send out to the ships. Or if you're shooting at the ships and it triggers one, it will actually transfer over to the walls as well. So that's going to be pretty nice that we're going to actually be able to utilize a lot of these effects. I'm going to turn around and finish that wall off here. You get your faster turn by fully dropping anchor, which to do that you'll just hold your circle button on PlayStation and it drops anchor. As soon as you start to hit the apex of turn, you can then lower your sails back in. Yeah, we might have actually taken that wall out as we went around there. Sweet. Helps if you pay attention where you're headed. Don't just ram into islands. Now that's actually pretty heavy for a first coming on a second wave of ships. That's kind of crazy. I hope we ain't fixing to fault that here. The last time I seen something like that was over at Sunny Capital, and every ship in the game aggroed on me. But it seems like it's slowing down though, so I don't think we'll run into that again. We'll wait for him to come over here. This thing's daggum big. It's hard to. It's not really hard to turn it. It's just I'm lazy. Yes. Oh wow, I missed way big. May have oversight even then. Let's see. Maybe we can steer him into it. Wow, I did hit it. I'm gonna say I must have just shot shy of it. I actually got him. Barely hit it there. Yeah, so if you kind of look at where the blind spot is on there, you can see where there's 3 cannon slots up at the top that's now no longer there, and then there's 5 across that bottom. Uh, you can see where they've kind of airbrushed over it a little bit. But I'm hoping that they eventually give us a way to get those back, even if it's like seasonal buffs or something like that. I don't know. It's a little bummed out that the turning radius is so slow, the takeoff is so slow. There's no DPS addition to the ship, no perks for it. And then they took away some guns, so I'm not really sure what they was thinking, but hopefully they can add that back or add at least some of it back. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. I don't know that they will, but we seen where they added I think it was one more top deck weapon over on the snow here a while back. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll get something like that. Or if you ever played Black Flag, we had the more of a sniper style cannon up on the top that you could aim in and hit those weak points with. Maybe they'll add something like that in here. It could be pretty cool that you could like kind of really fine tune your ships in. But at the very least, we're going to have that new seasonal journey in season 3 where we can actually come in here and based off a set of, you know, different types of challenges, I could actually bolster my ability with any type of weapon that I choose, then add the extra damage multipliers and things like that running those journeys. So you can really kind of really start to make your boat into something fancy and maybe change it up every season or grind it all out like I hope to every season. I don't know if it's possible yet or not. That'll be one of my first things I try is to get every perk you can opened up. So, all right, we're going to pick this stuff up here and make our way. I think we're going to come over here to the Acropolis to dump. Seems to be the closest. So that frigate there had 2 extra top decks and it looked like 3 on the bottom. If you look at the course fleet frigates, they actually have, get turned around here, they actually have 5 on the bottom and 3 on top. So maybe that, I don't know that there'll be anything particular about that, but maybe there'll be something. Depending on which faction you open up, getting in some more ports, that would be pretty cool. Or it could be something maybe they do in the future. I like to look at stuff and hope that it all happens quick, but the main thing is as long as they get faction wars here and it works like it's supposed to, that's going to be a really good perk to the game. There's a lot of stuff for the newcomers to come in here and do. I mean, if you haven't gotten at least 30 of the 40 ships available, I recommend doing that, getting those upgraded, and doing your weapons and stuff, and doing things like running these forts, running the helm materials. We're going to dump this stuff off, and I'll grab some contracts to show you how to do it that way. But you want to do it with friends because that's going to get you your best spawn rate. So we're sitting pretty good on sugarcane. I'm definitely going to go ahead and queue some of that up. Like I said, it takes about an hour for those fort contracts to pop in. So if you're looking for more stuff to do, the reason I'm headed over here is go ahead and queue up the sugarcane and pick up some helm contracts. And then I like to usually farm just south of St. Anne or over just south of Mother Shipwrecks. This is actually one of the best spawn points, it seems like, is right down in this southwest passage. So I usually will come down this way and head over and just farm all that up. And like I say, the more people you have holding these contracts, the better your grind will be. Let me just double check, make sure we don't have any more forts here. They may have changed some of this stuff. Well, look at that, they have. So we have another forts ready over at this location, so that'll be kind of cool. And like I say, these 4 registries here. Now you can do it how you want. I pick up all 4 because if you pick up all 4, you're going to get 4 fleets that spawn in. And there's actually a little trick here. If you will stop at every fast travel location coming down through, go onto the island, come back out, it'll force spawn some fleets that way. And when it stops doing that, then just move to the next area or get down to the open waters and just wait for the stuff to spawn up. It's totally up to you how you do it. There's really no wrong way to do it. I did want to go ahead and queue this skull product up here. Remember when we started, we didn't have anything. There's about 2,500. I don't know what we got on the other types of materials, but it definitely helps keep your silver in stock, keeping that stuff in. Like I say, that, any type of weapons you can stack, unascended weapons stack pretty high. I don't think there's a limit on those. And they sell, for a mortar 3, you can sell those for 250 silver each, which is the same as Gold Skull product. And you can just farm those out for free right there at the Grand Fillets. Now, it takes longer to accumulate, obviously, but you don't have to spend silver upgrading the stuff. So in the past, I've actually been using my sand bucket. I've got the Thunder Dragon cannons on it. And I've also used it with these new healing torpedoes, and that's what I had been using. But I switched back over to this because there's just so much more, space, so much more cargo space in it, and I can come in here and just keep finding these fleets. Now you can do it however you want. I usually aim for the sharpshooter first with my mortar. That usually takes him out. And whether you're in tier 1 or tier 2, these guys are going to pay you the same amount, between 18 and 25. Sometimes you get one that pays a little bit more. And you get a silver chest from each one of them. It's going to spawn over here. Like I say, the more ships you have carrying these contracts, the more spawns you end up having. You can have, if you've got 2 people in a team, you're going to be looking at quite a few ships just spawning in like crazy. Now, if you have multiple teams out here carrying this stuff, it's going to be insane the amount of stuff you're going to find. We get turned around there. Now, a trick I used to do, I don't know if it still works or not, but you could look behind you, and that would guarantee that those ships spawn in front. And you can usually hear them chime in when they're starting to spawn. Usually, if you're looking in a direction, you're not going to get any spawns in that direction. But like I say, I don't know if that still works or not. And destroy as many ships as you can, because that'll force spawns as well. And I'll show you what I was talking about using fast travel areas. You can use them to drop a lot of cargo. But like I said, right now, just solo farming, you're not going to get real heavy on some of these spawn rates. But what you can do is just travel from one fast travel to the next, as far as just pull in, empty your cargo, or you don't have to empty it. All right, Henry, you have a good one, man. Appreciate you stopping in. But when you load this stuff out here and then you come back out, you should have more of those ships loaded up here. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we're going to dock in. But for each player that's carrying a contract, you're looking at 8 ships. I'm sorry, 4 fleets, which would be a total of 8 ships. And this stuff really adds up really quick in this game. Oops, sorry about that. Wrong button. I want to empty my cargo. And remember, you cannot fast travel while you got these contracts on. So, and a lot of stuff like those ivory and all that stuff, you can sell that pretty good too. I don't think I've got any standard orders in this area at all. Oops, let's not go out of range here, out of zone. There's some ships. Pick up all our goodies. Yeah, looks like we've got a contract up here. We'll go ahead and sink this thing, get our pieces of 8. Ordinarily, I wouldn't, but the spawns, the more people you have, like I say, this works a little better, but you can do this in your little groups, or you can do it solo if you're not looking to pick off too big of a fleet. But it's a lot of fun. The more people you get in it, the more contracts exposed. You can fill these entire bays up full of those ships, switching to your sandbucks or schooners, anything causing those explosive effects, and just start spreading chaos across. And you can really add up really quick on your helm stuff, guys. So something to keep in mind. Now, I don't know if that's the liaison or not. Nope, that's a Campani Real. I think one of my shots splashed some water on his ship and sank it. I don't think I actually hit him very well. And next one's way over there. Okay. Okay, I want to check out some things here in my helm. Make sure I've got everything funded up here because I don't like running out of funding when you're offline. Make sure I'm not full on anything. We're looking pretty good there at. Well, there's getting kind of close. Go ahead and send some ships out here. So auto pickup obviously is working if you're online, but if you look, I'm not leaving any ships assigned when I leave. The reason for that is they still haven't got that aspect fixed or something about it where if you're offline and these ships go and pick up on their own and you've got items in here, they're not picking it up. It's just removing it from your inventory or your game. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Been reporting it, didn't see anything about it in the patch notes. So if you're noticing it in your game, make sure that you get that reported in so we can get that fixed, hopefully pretty soon. Mentioned it when they had their live stream on the deck. I know it's a different team than the guys that are up there doing that stuff, but hopefully that it was seen and it was given to the right people as well. So it never hurts to, just kind of remind them. So make sure y'all use that bug reporter at the main screen, or you find it on the Ubisoft Skull and Bones page as well. But it looks like the forts are working, so I'm looking forward to that tonight. Definitely looking forward to getting everybody to with the contracts. So I am going to hop off here. I will catch you everyone later. Have a wonderful evening, and well, I guess morning now. It's about 7 a.m. in it. So y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch y'all tonight. I've been on all summer. When's the last time you played Riding with Rhodey? They've added a few things. So frigates. I don't know if you caught the frigate or not. So we've got the frigate ship. They had to put a hold on the faction wars for now, but it's coming out next month, middle of October. It'll be coming out season 3. We're going to finally get our faction wars to be in here with our warehouses, you can make parts and things on them now. You have your auto collect zones where you can just come in and claim everything that's been produced, or you can send out ships to pick up your items. Like, let's see if we got something here ready. Yeah, we can go ahead and auto collect here. Yeah, so we can come in here. We can actually just kind of draw that, sending a ship out. Depending on how high of a level you have for your manufacturing and how far away it is from one of the main hubs, it'll determine whether or not you need a really high level ship or not. The higher the higher level ship you're going to need there. So it's something to kind of keep an eye on. And another great thing to be running if you're looking for materials or even pieces of 8 is running these hostile takeovers. You can get these little gilded render caches, and you can get 150 of those things. In tier 2 really is where that one pays off, just running these little hostile takeovers. PvP pays about the best, but you get 150 PvP here in tier 1, but if you're in tier 2 you can get close to 200 with the hostile takeover PvPs. If you're running solos, you're getting about 150 over there. Here it plays out to about 70 on a solo, 150 on a PvP. So it's definitely worth running in either one of them. Obviously, you get more SP running them over in Tier 2, so you can get those Thunder Dragon cannons and other things. And again, just a reminder before I hop off for you guys, make sure you check out the Pinnacle store. It may have something you're needing. I know that there's a lot of armors. Rhapsody of the Deep we have in here. There's also this buoy locker. We used to be able to get these from events, and people have been looking for them, but we can pick the actual blueprints up now. Now, I'm not a big Infernal Maw fan. I've got a few of them that I've dropped, and I've just hung on to them. But Carronades went ahead and picked that one up as well. How's it going there, Ed Meister? So it looks like some good stuff. Of course, we've stacked up our Thunder Dragon cannons, and with the event here that's running, I went ahead and stacked up with our torpedoes. Let's see if we can bring that up here for you. So I've been running Eel's Twine. Like I said, though, when I get on, I grab it. Sometimes the warehouses are full, but you just come in, send your ships out to auto, pick that stuff up. And you can run these different types of things that way. I know you can only buy 3 per week, and then over her sister you get 3 more. So there's really not any like mass buying of this kind of stuff anymore. So honestly, when it comes to pieces of 8, once you have your helm situated, you're going to rack up a lot of 8s pretty quick, even if you're making parts. But making parts in the helm is going to allow you to get more per day and per week that way. And it seems like they're trying to get us where we're not just super rich with pieces of 8s, being able to just throw that at anything. So another thing I've been saving up is these paintings. It's a commodity item. These actually sell pretty nice over at the Command Grove. And I just hang on to these. Most of the stuff I'm getting from the DMC at Grand Fillets. Of course, a lot of those weapons as well. So we sold a bunch of weapons here recently, but you get a lot of stuff there. We got about 45,000 of these now, 28,000. So we're getting our stock back up. I'm trying to get 50,000 of each, which give me about 200,000. That's quite a bit of silver. That's probably a little over 150 million silver. I'd have to do the math on it, but just try to bulk all this stuff up and get it done. And then you can even sell some of these chests if you want to, but typically when I get ready to start breaking stuff down, I will be running these caches, these ascended cache boxes that I get out of the main fort. And then if it's something I need, I hang on to it. If not, I go ahead and salvage it, or I'll sell it and get silver that way. Some of those cannons and stuff are selling 500 to 800 silver a piece, and if I don't really need to upgrade parts and stuff for any of the raw materials they produce, I'll take and sell those to Skurlock and Rama as well. So then of course there's a lot of these weapons like the Far Scourge 2s, 3s, and things like that. I'll sell them over there at Skurlock. He pays, I think it's $525 for the 3s and $400 for the 2s, if I'm not mistaken. And then of course mortar 3s pay $250 a piece. Repair mortars, they pay about $250 to $300 over there as well. So those are some pretty good options. Got a ton of armor, so we're going to be looking at some armor upgrades starting season 3, where we're going to be able to roll ascensions just like you can with weapons. We're going to be able to roll those on here. Now, from what I'm hearing from some of the guys that have tested this session, or these sessions, this effect here, you can take like these white armors, like layered scales. It'll be 5. I'm not sure why I got a 2 here. Must be something to drop, but you can actually get 4 rolls on this thing and have a couple greens and then some blues, or is it a green, two blues, and then a purple, I believe. Then of course your purples, you get a green and two blues, and then you get two greens and a blue, I believe, if you're running the blues. And then of course your green armors that you can build over at the blacksmith, you can run those and get was it a green, a blue, and a purple, I believe, on it. Plus whatever base effect is on there. So a lot of these things, such as the Ouroboros, people are going to be using that. But there are ways to add that heal factor for your ship, how it'll heal 100 severe damage per second. You can actually add that to, say, a Silver Sentinel if you wanted to, where you have that block dome on there or something. You could add it to a Nocturne's Heart if you wanted to, or you could add that to a Buccaneer's Oath. That way you're healing and you get your Ouroboros, but now you're also getting a Blood Gold perk. So it's a green perk that you can put on there. There's quite a few different types. There's going to be 12 of the basics, which is the green color rolls you can do, 10 of the blues, and then it sounds like there's 6 of the purples we're going to be able to put on there now. You're going to be able to add AoE effects that you would charge up like you would Crescendo on that Stormwoven Symphony, or you're going to be able to come in and when you brace, if the hit causes explosions and stuff, and add those types of more of a reactive AoE that way as well. So you could have a defensive or an offensive type of a weapon made into it. So that's going to be pretty cool to see that. I know that they have what's the name of that armor? I may not have built any. It's the pistachio armor or something, pistachio. I don't know. It's weird name to it, but we have to. There it is, right there. So this one here actually heals you while you're ramming people for 138%. So maybe that's something that you can add some extra effects to and stuff. Add something that if you ram them, it causes gas or poison and stuff. So those are going to be added to our weapons and our armor, poison effects that we can add in there. So one of them is where it'd be like with the pest, or some of these poison armors that we already have in the game, where if you get bumped into or you bump into them, it releases the gas and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty cool. So, but I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I'm going to hop off here and I will catch y'all this evening.